purpose of this video is to give you some helpful hints and instruction on how to set up the Quilt Display Stand 2.0. When you receive your quilt stand, it will come in 4 pieces packed in a carrying bag. You'll have 2 uprights, like the ones on either side of me, and a 2-piece crossbar. The first thing you want to do is to connect the 2 pieces. So there is a screw on one end. Just bring them together and screw them in. Okay, now you're going to extend it to what you believe will be the correct width for the quilt you want to hang. First thing I suggest you do is put your uprights into position. Okay, now this telescopic crossbar is kind of like a shower curtain. You can twist it and it tightens and holds its position. Or you can twist it the other way and extend it and then tighten it. This is a really neat feature because it keeps the crossbar from getting away from you and it holds a position once you get the quilt hung. So no slipping and sliding. The quilt that we're going to hang has a sleeve sewn on the back of it. We highly recommend this so that the quilt will hang neatly and very professionally. So if you don't have a sleeve sewn on the back of the quilt, don't worry about that. We'll show you what to do about it with one of our tips at the end of the video. So the first thing we're going to do is slide this crossbar through the sleeve. At the end of both sides of the crossbar are 2 holes that are drilled through all the way. So you're going to fit those over these pins. Now, as you can see, the crossbar has been adjusted to be the correct width for this particular quilt. And you'll notice that there's very minimal bar showing because you really don't want the crossbar to show, you just want the quilt to show. And one of the advantages of having a telescoping crossbar is that you can adjust the crossbar to fit the size of the quilt. The next thing we're going to do is start extending the uprights. You'll notice on the upright that we no longer have pegs to tighten it into position. We have clamps. And the clamps make it easy so that you don't over tighten or strip out any screws or anything like that. You can only tighten it a certain way, one way, and it stays in place. Now, one of the things that we recommend is if you're setting up the stand by yourself, don't put one end up so high that it puts stress on the pin. You just want to kind of lift it up a little bit at a time so you have a nice, comfortable extension without stressing the stand. I'd say that's about the most you really want to lift it without putting stress on the pin. It's always better if you have somebody to help you because then you can put up both sides at the same time. So little by little, we're getting this into position. And when you've got it up as high as you want it to go, then you just lock the clamps in place, and you're good to go. And we're almost done. The next thing to do is just to check and make sure it's even. So I think I'll just pull it over a little bit, center it, make sure my tripods are firmly in position. Done. One of the advantages and benefits of this quilt display stand is that you can hang more than one quilt on it, as long as you have an extra crossbar. Once you've set up your quilt display stand and you've hung your quilt, You can hang another one on the back by just using a very simple S-hook. Buy 2 of these at your local hardware store. They're commonly found everywhere. Hang the S-hook onto the top crossbar, and then take your extra crossbar and hang it on the bottom side of the S-hook. And then you can hang a quilt on the back, and you can have 2 quilts on one stand.
Great.
All right, here's a tip on how to hang a quilt that doesn't have a sleeve sewn onto the back of it. What we recommend is that you use a clamp. You can get these on our website as well. Or you can use something similar to this. But what you can do is just make sure you get a good heavy-duty clamp and clamp it onto the quilt. On a large quilt, you'll probably need about 4 clamps in order to get a nice, clean look. When you receive your quilt display stand 2.0, the first thing you're going to do is unpack it and set up the uprights. This is the upright. First, loosen the screw that holds the tripod in place, and then gently pull the legs out. Pull up and push down, and then tighten. If you need more stability than this, you can expand it even further. Just loosen it again, and keep pushing down until you have full extension, and then tighten it. If the clamp should loosen and not hold the pole in position, you don't need to replace the clamp. What you have to do is tighten the clamp. And your quilt display stand will come with this tool. So you will take this tool, put it in the upper back of the screw, not the lower one, the upper one, and give it a little bit of a tightening, and you're good to go.